Hey everyone, it is Lynn's Love by Choice. Thanks for stopping by the channel. Today we are doing the first apartment in our triplex build, and this is for a carefree family that is also a bit minimalist. So grab everything you need. Let's get into the details of this because it won't be a very long video because we have a few more apartments to do. By a few, I literally mean 2 more because this is a triplex, tri meaning 3. So let's get into this. All right, so you can see that we are just working in the kitchen first. The first thing I wanted to do was just add in a few things to make it look a little lived in. So they need, a soap dispenser, they needed paper towels, they needed paper plates, and a few other things. I do go back in towards the end of the video and add in like a tea kettle and some other things, but then I go into the bathroom and I just add a few more things here. I think they have a newborn or an infant, or I think it's like a newborn that will be an infant soon because, I add some diapers there, and then I have a little nursery, and then there is a child's room, and then the parents' room. So you can see I added a few things there. I think that room is the most cluttered. Everything else is very minimal. We do move into the laundry room, and I have, some towels, some clothes, but then I think this is where I realized these rooms are a little bit tiny, and there's absolutely nothing I can do about it. So I do just go with it, and that's like the most realistic part of it is that I couldn't change much. Like I couldn't change where the lights are placed. I couldn't change the windows, the doors, how big this place is. I could only just furnish. So I think that's really why I loved it. I did have a little bit of difficulty, but I do come back a little later and add some things in. I did have the idea of putting the nursery here, but I was like, there's another room. So we're just going to make it another room. So I do not do this for much time. I do just go ahead and move it over. As you can see there, I add a little dresser, and then I do add some things above. So like they have some clothes hanging off the wall, and I think that is really nice touch. That's a really nice touch. So I do end up adding that, and I have to add some things on the window sills. So I do add a bunch of the things that I think baby care needs are, and that's what I add here. It was a little bit difficult, but I do end up persevering, and we end up getting a stunning looking newborn room. And I think this is perfect because you really do need a lot for a newborn, and I do add a lot of things there for care, and then like little creams, ointments, things like that. And then I have a little toy plushy little thing there, so I do add that, and then a little basket, and I think it would be like small toys, or it can be clothes, new clothes that they don't want to put up, or it could be literally just about anything. I don't really know, but I do add a trash can in there. And so this is when I decide that I need to add some things in the living room. There is a living room space and a den, and I have nothing in there. So that is where I just go in and I start adding things. But this first go around was a little bit difficult. I wasn't really sure what I wanted this to look like, so I do go back in and really just gut this entire thing out. It does not end up looking like this in the end, but this was my idea at first, and I actually really do love this. I wanted to use a lot of things from Eco Lifestyle as we are in Evergreen Harbor, but I do end up changing it because this was a little bit darker, and I'm like, this does not give carefree, this does not give minimal, because there are a lot of things going on. I think really that rug just threw it out, and I do end up changing it, so you do not have to worry about that. But then I move right into the children's room, and for this one I think the colors are blue and orange, but I do have a few other colors that I do use because children, they don't really care about colors. They just want to have things that make them happy. And I think the main thing is just that they enjoy it. And so I think the parents actually went in and added some small things, but then they allowed their children to have the freedom to decorate the way that they wanted to. And so now that we're moving into the den, I think this is a really nice place for Sims to really just calm down. There is a lot going on often in Evergreen Harbor, and so this is a place for you to nestle up next to a good book, put a cover on you, a little blanket, and just really enjoy the sounds of this industrial town. So I think this is really nice. We have calming colors here. It's not very, loud. I do end up using the same light in here as I did in the newborn's room, but I think that is actually just fine. And then I go back into the parents' room and add some things here, just a little chair. I do add those hanging clothing hangers and some more things to really just make it feel like it is a bit lived in, but keeping staying true to the minimalistic style, so it's not a lot in here, and also it is a very small room, so it's not like we could add a lot. But even though we couldn't add a lot, I still wanted to use the space in a way that I think just makes sense for the family. So I do just, add a few things. We want to make sure we have storage, so if we can put things away, we can, and I try to make that known across the entire family's apartment, so there's a lot of storage. We have this nice little wardrobe that we end up using in the children's room, and then I just add a little curtain in here. I noticed that, there's a curtain in this children's room, and then there's a curtain in the newborn's room, but there is not one in the parents' room, and I think that's just because they value a little bit more of the natural light. They don't need a lot of privacy, but they want that for their kids, so I do end up adding that. And then this is where I add that activity table, and then I did want to add in this violin. I am not sure what their overall activity preference is for this child, but I wanted to give you guys some options in case you wanted to just make it whatever you wanted to. So there is that, and then just adding in a bunch of things for that child, because I felt like, again, the overall theme of the home is very minimalistic, but they don't really want to impose that on their children. So that's why I just don't really have limitations in there. But we are back out in the living room space, and this is where I ended up adding in a few of those things, and I love this. Like, this is so beautiful. The most elaborate thing really is that coffee table to me. I know it is a little bit crazy trying to go to a white couch for this when you have children, but I feel like they're just tiny humans. They're not really children, but I love leaning into that white. And so I did end up changing the white aspect in the couches, but I left the white lamp, and it is like a softer color in here. And so there's not a lot going on in this build, but I did want to make it seem like it is for a family. So I do end up adding in, the little end table next to this mirror, and I think that is perfect. I did want to add an end table next to the door. You can see I'm trying to do that now, but it did not end up working out because I wanted to make sure that your Sims can walk through it and everything. So just a little end table that we got from the Horse Ranch pack. And then I ended up using these storage containers and then pushing up the ottomans. So it looks like you can sit there, but you really can't. I'm sorry, but it looks nice, and I think that's fine. Then to make it a little bit more homey, I do add a small rug and then some places where you can add some pictures. And I think this looks beautiful. It's not very, cluttered or anything, but it does give off the fact that a family lives here. Whether or not their styles match up to everyone else's, they don't really care about it. They just want to live in a place that's functional and makes sense for this family. And I wanted to lean into that narrative. Okay, now that we are coming to the end of this build, I just wanted to let you know that you can go ahead and download this off the gallery if you want. It is as a room. So if you do want to download this, feel free to do so. You would just have to, add the walls back in once you place it into the lot that has this triplex in it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please let me know in the comments. Like this video and also subscribe to the channel. If you want to see more videos like this, please go ahead and let me know in the comments, and don't forget to click the notification bell. That way you can be notified whenever the next apartment gets uploaded, which will be very soon. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Bye.